Hey yo, check it out, it's your boy The Dreamer, man. I'm back again with a bang. Nhlanhla and Julius Malema, they've been making the rounds in the media a lot lately, representing their organizations.
And South Africa.
And South Africa, of course. They want to be the next great leader of South Africa. They're both young and they both...
The Nelson Mandela.
You know, they're the Nelson Mandelas of this world, and the Steve Bikos and the Chris Honeys. Steve Biko, of course, being one of the greatest leaders to inspire all young people to understand black consciousness and actually understand, man, he was the leader of the black consciousness movement. So, you know, yeah, it's definitely lit, man. Press subscribe and make sure you follow, hit the notification bell. Let's talk about it in the comment section, man. It's going crazy right now, right? If you're a black child like me, man, and you grew up in the ghetto and you just wish to see Africa become a paradise again,
paradise for love,
you know, make sure that you like.
It's black, powerful, sexy.
Like.
Now, guys, if you didn't know, Nhlanhla, the leader of the Dudula movement, has always been clashing with Julius Malema of the EFF, as it's always been with great leaders of Africa, you know, always divided, and that seems to come in between the great things that African leaders can do. Nhlanhla went from being a pilot as a young man to, you know, the commander-in-chief of the Dudula movement, which was, you know, he went from driving cars in the hood, supercars, may I add, you know, to possibly leading the revolution. But, you know, the only downside to this movement, of course, was that it was fighting against black people as well. And that didn't go well with, of course, Julius Malema. And, well, all black people, I guess.
black people, but I'm black.
Because South Africans are not xenophobic.
Thank you. Believe.
Standing mostly from Alexandra as well as Soweto. That's where they were basically singing and also at the same time delivering their CV. They're saying that this is very important because they feel that at this point the employment ratio in terms of South Africans as well as foreigners is not exactly according to what it's supposed to be. They feel that South Africans are at the end where they're not receiving jobs because of the higher ratio of employment of foreigners. Of course, these are allegations. It's something that they will go on to understand further as they do more into their investigations, of course. And as we speak to the Department of Labor, we'll find out if that is the case, but we are still reaching out to them. But today, for sure, we spoke to Nhlanhla, and Nhlanhla says to us, this is very difficult, of course, for the youth, and therefore they would like answers, but for now they are delivering CVs. Let's listen.
And they are going as far as saying you are protecting the alleged drug lords. What's your response
Those are
to
small
South
kids.
Africans?
I have no time for small kids. Those are small kids with small brains, a size of a peanut. I fight real battles of the continent. I have no time for amateurs who are trying their luck using my name.
Here at Sentence City in the mall, in particular the restaurant space and the retail space, because the restaurant space and the retail space are low-skill jobs. You're not required to build a helicopter. It's a low-skill job. Bring plate, take plate.
I've got nothing to do. Everybody knows where I stand. I don't care what they say about me. They can make all sorts of allegations. They are arrivalist. I fought here the biggest establishment against me, and I'm not going to be threatened by small kids. Those small, I have no time for them. They are new into what they are doing. If you listen to how they speak, if you listen to the posture they take, they all imitate me.
100% protected. They can bring it on. Shut down after shut down, lockdown after lockdown. We're going to do the right thing in our communities, and we're going to make sure we continue to work with the police to make sure that crime ends in our communities. Drugs, not drugs being sold on my street. If all men can rise up and make sure that there's no drugs being sold in your street, regardless of what the politicians are saying, South Africa will be a drug-free country. But as long as you wait for lax to come to your community and you're scared of confronting a drug dealer, that means you've got more fear for the drug dealer than you have love for your kids. So ours is simple, it's clear.
So why should I be worried by imitators? I've no time for kids. There's no principle to engage with there. I'm dealing here
somebody doesn't
with
have an
principle.
appreciation of how deep-rooted this problem is. You've got young people who actually have qualifications that have gathered in their numbers here. Today we see that there's a lot of people who are unemployed. How long of a period have they given the restaurant industry to employ the locals, or at least get back to them?
Well, initially they said 6 months. This was how long they were going to give the restaurant owners, of course, to go back into their books as well and look if this ratio is exactly what they're saying it is. But at this point, they've decided that 3 months is the right time to be given to the restaurant owners. Otherwise, of course, they're saying that they will be returning, and whilst they return, it might not be as kind as they were today.
South Africans owning businesses, employing foreigners, be it illegal or legal. And I must start with saying that young South Africans don't have a problem with foreigners. They are our brothers and sisters, in particular those that are African. We love them with everything, but sisterhood and brotherhood is not going to be an excuse to leave South Africans behind in their own country.
Stop your self-hatred. Stop attacking our brothers from Africa, our sisters from Africa. We are one thing. You say batata umsebenzi. Even if we expel them tomorrow, you will still not get a job. There are no jobs in South Africa because whites are refusing to invest money in South Africa. They've got too many savings in the bank.
So the message is simple. The young people have brought their CVs. They showed will. These CVs are going to be shared with the business owners here at Sandton City in the mall. In particular, the restaurant space and the retail space. Because the restaurant space and the retail space are low-skill jobs. You're not required to build a helicopter. It's a low-skill job.
Causing divisions amongst Africa. Don't glorify these borders. Uti, hey, there is Zimbabwe, there is Nigeria. These borders were never here. These borders were imposed on us by white people who wanted to divide Africa and do what they wanted to do with this continent of Africa.
I feel so good. I feel so good.
I am ashamed today to call myself a South African. The image that are coming out of Durban make me to be ashamed. You are beating blacks. You are slaughtering Africans. I've never seen you doing that to a Chinese. I've never seen you doing that to a white person who doesn't have papers. I've never seen you do that to an Indian without papers. But once they say it's an African, because you hate yourself, because white people taught you to hate yourself, you kill other Africans. Stop that nonsense. It ends today. We must unite as Africans.
Africa?
They're also trying to make a living for themselves. And why I say they're bad is because they're increasing the population of people in South Africa.
Corruption is serious, especially each and every 20 minutes.
They are part of in South Africa. From Kudala, even during our times of apartheid, Nigeria and Zimbabwe, we're helping them. So the way I view them, like my brothers and my sisters, we're all under depression and stuff. And then so I wasn't at that time. So even now, friendship should continue and stuff like that.
They're increasing the population growth rate, which leaves the government being unable to provide the social services for all the people in our country. And also, they're increasing the level of unemployment for the citizens of South Africa.
They don't make any difference in my life. So there's a stigma that's saying they're taking people's jobs and whatnot. No, I don't care about that. I feel good to
if you say you're fighting all foreigners, that means you are also suggesting all embassies in South Africa must close down immediate effect. People must go home. And all our ambassadors across the world must close office and come back because we are fighting all foreigners. And I was like, I'm not going to allow that. And what's the people that are suffering the most happen to be African foreigners, by definition. because they are the closest to home. You don't find a Chinese guy chilling in Tembisa. You find a Mozambican and you find Aotearoa Tsetswang Malawi, Tsetswang Bozim, and so forth chilling there. So as soon as you introduce that culture and you condition our people to saying, to hell with foreigners, all of them, then we are saying that there must be a battle in our townships. There must be fights. We must kill each other. We must just talk nonsense about each other. And I couldn't stand there and advocate for that nonsense. A lot of the people, even listening to this interview now, they've never heard me speak of all foreigners must go. I've always addressed undocumented foreigners.